Good morning. Thank you so much for being here today on this very rainy Vermont morning. We didn't order this weather, but we're very grateful to you that you came anyway, so thank you. Welcome to the ITVFest, and welcome to our conversation about Vermont film and television. My name is Elaine Sopchak, and I am a project manager for the Agency of Commerce and Community Development, and I run the Think Vermont program, which you might have heard about on the news a little bit. It's an initiative to bring people to Vermont, to encourage people to open businesses in Vermont, and to encourage our wonderful residents to stay in Vermont. The purpose of this event is to talk to folks in the industry who are Vermonters and who are not Vermonters about how to do business in Vermont in the film and television industry. We want to know what's going well, what's not going so well, what's missing, and what are we doing that's pretty cool that we should be doing more of. So during the course of the morning, if you can think about these questions as we proceed. And we have a leaking ceiling. Wow. Is it going into the bar? Okay, great. I just noticed that. On that note, so we have a number of, as all of you know, the best laid plans sometimes don't work out. And so I'm here today as a representative of the state of Vermont. Secretary Michael Sherlane of the Agency of Commerce was not able to be here today and sends his regrets, as well as Commissioner Wendy Knight of the Tourism and Marketing Department, who was unable to be here as well. So I was hoping to give you some variety in the kinds of speakers you would see this morning, but now you're stuck with just me. So I hope that's okay with you. But what I would like to do is, this is a conversation that started about a year ago when Governor Phil Scott came to Manchester to the ITVFest and had a roundtable conversation with a small group of people about the industry. And so I would like to thank Governor Scott for his continued interest in supporting this industry and for supporting legislative efforts on that behalf. And I don't believe we have any legislators in the room this morning. Correct me if I'm wrong. But there's been a handful of legislators in the State House in the past year, particularly Representative Brian Keefe, who is a part of the Vermont Production Council and who is a representative for the town of Manchester, have been really helpful in forwarding the information and the need that this industry has to the legislature. And so we're going to hope to try again in this upcoming legislative session to make sure that we have some skin in the game about getting some business supporting legislation going in the State House. So also a couple more thank yous. I would really like to thank the ITVFest, Phil Gilpin, Carolyn Blitz, and Meredith Watley for their logistical support for making this happen, and for Michael and Carolina for this amazing space to hold an event. This is a really fantastic place. So thank you all very much for hosting us today. And I would also like to thank Tim Egan from Northern Vermont University and Karen Middleman, the director of the Vermont Council on the Arts, who are going to be facilitating some small group discussion this morning. You may have seen in your folders that our agenda has been shortened, and again, because we've had some changes in the number of presenters who can be here today. So we're going to we're starting now, and we're going to wrap it up between 12 and 12:30, as opposed to going until 3. What we'll do is I have a few more things to share with you, and then we're going to have some presentations, and then we're going to break up into 3 small groups, and we're going to discuss 3 separate topics regarding the film and television industry in Vermont. And I'm going to ask for your indulgence, because you're being very generous to me, because the purpose of this event is for you to tell me what you need. So I want you guys to teach me and give me information that I can take back to the agency, I can take back to the legislature, and see what we can do at the state level to improve things for the industry in general. Our presentations are going to be a sort of kind of kucha, where normally that's 20 images and 20 seconds, and we're going to lengthen it, and we're going to have 5 minutes, 10 images. So each of the businesses that's going to present in a few minutes will have a 5-minute window to tell you about what they do. And the purpose of that is to introduce the wide spectrum of different kinds of organizations and businesses that are a part of the film and television industry in Vermont. There's a lot of really fascinating work going on. It's not all movies and it's not all TV. There's a lot of different stuff going on, and we're hopefully going to show you just a small snippet of the variety. After we have our facilitated conversations, we're going to wrap up by regrouping up front. We're going to go over a few of the things that we learned, and then we'll send you on your way. And then my job will be to take all of the notes and the information that I learned from all of you, and I'm going to combine them and send them back out to all of you. So if you didn't register for this event, I know a lot of you walked in, which is fantastic. I would love to get your emails. So if you didn't leave your email address at the front desk, please do so that I can share with you the results of our event today, and you can have a more broader picture of what the conversation was like. So I'm just going to talk a little bit more about specifics to why we're here. As I said, Governor Scott had been here last year to talk about what the state can do for the industry, and a couple different themes arose. Workforce. The film and television industry is a great opportunity for young people to stay in Vermont and work in Vermont rather than relocating to New York or Boston or Montreal. And we need to build the workforce. So we need to talk about training, education, internships, all sorts of opportunities for folks to do their work in this state. Infrastructure was another theme that came up last year with the governor. We need to build out a supporting infrastructure that will strengthen the industry, not just the kinds of different businesses that you use, the various different kinds of services, but also our transportation opportunities and other facility opportunities that might be really beneficial to helping the industry grow. And then Vermont's many assets can really be leveraged. We have diverse locations and absolutely stunning scenery. We have affordable accommodations, we have welcoming and authentic people. There are no state permits required. Our workforce is non-unionized, and locations can depict many different eras. These are all assets that we can leverage to give this industry some better growth in the state. And our proximity to New York and Boston, Montreal are also things that we can really enjoy and take advantage of. So, sorry, I'm speaking for three different people, so I'm going through three different sets of talking points. So, thank you for bearing with me. Overall, I apologize. Okay. Okay, so now moving on to Commissioner Knight's talking points. So if she were here, she'd be saying these things. So one, we are all here because we're believers in the film and television industry in the state, but I have to give you one reality check that I want you to have that's important. The state of Vermont is small, our resources are limited, and we are bordered by Massachusetts, New York, and Canada. And all three of those large entities offer many, many benefits and incentives to the film and television industry that Vermont cannot compete with. So while we are extremely aware of that competition and the fact that these states have opportunities that we cannot offer, there's other stuff we can offer, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I just wanted to give you that reality check that a $35 million tax incentive package is not something that Vermont can do. That said, we want to support production efforts throughout the state, and we want to support local production. We want to encourage and educate and train local folks to learn how to be stage set designers and learn how to light sets and learn how to do hair and makeup, learn how to act, learn how to produce. All of that stuff, we have an education base that which you'll hear about very shortly that we can continue to strengthen. And we also want to encourage productions from out of state to come into Vermont. You're not going to get better scenery anywhere in the country. We really want to have some industry, larger projects come into the state and film here. And we're working on putting together a package that has a variety of different benefits for a variety of different aspects of the industry. So what the agency is currently doing, so my job at Think Vermont is to convene groups. So this is one of the things that we're doing. My job will be over the course of the next several months, and in the past several months, I've been traveling around the state having conversations with all sorts of people different folks who are involved in the film and television industry and learning from them on a more personal level what it is they think they need. And then another thing we want to do, and hopefully this will be the first of several convenings throughout the state of folks in the film and television industry to talk about the things that they need, but also to meet each other. I get the impression that there's a lot of people who don't know that there are other people in the state working in the field, so it's important for all of you to be able to network. We also have a website called thinkvermont.com, and it is a website that is sort of an umbrella, welcoming kind of thing, designed to entice people to come to Vermont, and it highlights various industries, so manufacturing, healthcare, education. We are currently at work on a creative economy page. We want to treat the creative economy the same way we treat manufacturing and healthcare. You have a percentage of Vermont's GDP. You have a huge percentage of payroll. You have a huge percentage of small business ownership. So we want to highlight the aspects of the industry that mean a lot to Vermont's bottom line and Vermont's economy. So we're going to be adding that creative economy page hopefully in the next couple weeks or so. One of the things I want to show you about the website, this is what we're calling our interactive community atlas, and you can find this when you go to thinkvermont.com and you choose the relocate page. There's this option this is where you can shop. If you're not a Vermonter, you can shop around about Vermont and figure out where you might want to be. And you can filter. There's multiple layers, so you can put towns, roads, train stations, airports, and then you can filter by industry. And so if you are somebody who's interested in looking up entrepreneurial and business support, you look that up on here, and all the entities that do that work pop up on the map. You can hover over them and get their details and then contact them. So what we're wanting to do is add a layer for your industry. We would like to highlight all of the businesses and organizations that are in Vermont that have to do with the film and television industry, so that when someone is thinking of moving to the area, they can look that up and see it. So the way we're getting started with that, back by the desk where Michael is sitting at the moment, there's a map of Vermont on an easel, and in front of it is a clipboard and some push pins with numbers on them. If you would like to be included as a business in the industry on this map, please go sign up on that clipboard and then take the pin that goes alongside the line number and put it on the map. Show us where you actually are. Give us your contact information and I will reach out to you in the future and get more details so that we can put you on this map. We don't know all of the different businesses that are here in Vermont, and so we rely on you guys to share that information with us. So if you could spread the word that we're going to be putting this map together, folks can email me, they can go on, send an email to info@thinkvermont.com, and you can share your business information with me so that we can get you on this map. And another thing that the state is getting ready to do, some of you might recognize this. Who recognizes this? Anybody? This is the former Vermont production guide when Vermont used to have a film commission. This was their yellow pages. It was a listing of all of the independent contractors in the state, all of the different cinematographers and editors and sound guys and all that kind of stuff. There's a section on taxes, there's a section on payroll, there's a section on site locations. We're going to convert this to a website. So we are currently working on identifying partners to do this work with us. And then this will connect to our Creative Economy page on the Think Vermont website. And then everyone will be able to look this information up, and hopefully it'll be a way of connecting everybody more and helping you find ways to find those businesses you weren't aware of that are located in the state. And the last thing that we're working on is we're starting to talk to various overnight accommodations, whether it's an inn, a hotel, or real estate companies that offer houses for rent. And we're trying to put together a clearinghouse of accommodations that will offer discounted accommodations for productions for extended periods of time. So we're working on that, and we're also going to try to put a catering aspect to that as well. So if productions come to town and they need, 25 rooms for 37 days, we can figure that out so it doesn't break your bottom line. So those are some things that the agency and the state are trying to do. And so now, I'm getting to the best part, which I'm going to leave the stage and other people are going to come up. But we're going to hear from 5 different organizations that represent a really wide spectrum of Vermont. I'm going to give you a quick rundown on them, and then we're just going to go through them. Is Justin here, Justin Bonnell? Our first presenter has not arrived yet, but he's coming from Chittenden County. It's a long ride. So we're gonna do our second one first. So Retro Motion Creative from Williston is a digital design firm that provides video production, animation, photography, design, and website design for its clients. The Vermont State College system offers degree programs in multiple industry-relevant fields, building a creative workforce that is in part funded by the state of Vermont. Ames Hill Video of Brattleboro is a full-service firm and video production company whose work includes everything from films and documentaries to music videos and commercials. And the Vermont Access Network is a statewide coalition that supports 25 educational, public, and government access television stations, which provide public access to government and community-based alternatives to broadcast media. And our final presentation will be by Nomadic Care Mongolia, which is a Vermont-based nonprofit organization that supports and preserves traditional Mongolian nomadic culture through healthcare, films, and stories. So I would like to welcome our first guest up to the stage. Dr. Harry McInerney is the director of the chair of the Theater Arts Department at Castleton University, and he's going to talk about the Vermont State Colleges system and all of the educational programs that they offer for the industry.
Hi, y'all. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Elaine, for getting this thing together. We're getting to my wonderful slide presentation. Okay, there it is. Great. So my name is Harry McInerney. I'm the chair of the Theater Arts Department at Castleton University, and I'm here representing the Vermont State College system. And one of the things, if there's nothing else that I want you to take away from this presentation, it's, well, two things. One, that I look really good. Two, that as Elaine was talking about the need for a workforce, we have that. We have the workforce here. They're ready. They're doing stuff. I selected this photograph because we're employing video in our productions. This is a production of American Idiot, and we're employing video on stage. Theater arts departments around the state are training people in every aspect of the stuff that you need: set design, light design, costume design, makeup design, properties design. Video technology, and we work really well with deadlines. Although after I selected this, I thought, well, this looks kind of moody, so sorry about that. And my apologies to Northern Vermont University, CCV, and VTC, the other schools in the VSC system. I had these photographs. That's why I used them. But I am speaking for all of these areas. We offer all kinds of courses at the VSC. This is stagecraft, where students have lab times where they build all of the sets, design or hang all the lights, deal with all of that, all of those things. Hold on. We teach courses in makeup design, and we have had great success with our students going into regional and national areas. In this area in particular, we had one student who got their first job outside of Castleton was a makeup artist for the New York City Ballet, like that New York City Ballet. So we do good stuff. Scenic painting. Those on the top, those are studies, clearly. Hand-drawn circles, different paint colors mixed. And then those bottom ones are, the students were given a picture that they had to recreate and they had a day to do it. So these paintings were done in a day. This is a scenic design class, or it's an introduction to design class. So you can see there's costumes, there's renderings, it's all hand-drawn, although we do also offer courses in computer-aided design. But this particular course is all hand-drawn. And yes, all those students are that happy all the time. I also wanted to show that we are using state-of-the-art equipment. That we have this kind we're not just training people theoretically, we're training them practically. The drone is at the top of the photograph. So they're flying the drone. That's Jess, and she's adorable. And I just want to put this in because she's adorable, and she's a very talented costume designer. And now I'm just going to talk. I'm sorry about this. I need to check my Pokemon Go. Some things that I wanted to tell you. Bureau of Labor Statistics. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Occupational Outlook Handbook, projected occupational growth from 2016 to 2026 of certain areas. This is according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Actors, producers and directors, costume attendants, makeup artists, set and exhibit designers, barbers, hairstylists, cosmetologists, film and video editors, and camera operators are all projected to have double-digit growth in the next 10 years, from 10 to 13%. The projected growth rate is faster than that for all occupations. Also, art directors, craft and fine artists, drafters, multimedia artists, and animators, Bureau of Labor Statistics says that those areas are projected to grow all over 7% to 10%, and that's about as fast as the average for all occupations. So these areas are the stuff that we're dealing with. They're growing. They're growing nationally. The BSc programs, so the BSc, if you do not know, consists of Castleton University, Northern Vermont University, which has campuses at Johnson and Linden, Vermont Technical College, and Community College of Vermont. Programs that I think that you can tap into right now. They exist among the BSc. Theater arts, electronic journalism arts, media and communication, music composition, audio production, technical theater and design, cinema production, acting and directing, animation and illustration, photography, media arts, and visual production. These are all programs that currently exist among the Vermont State College. They're housed with students. They're taking courses like, you ready for this? Acting. There's several layers of acting. Acting for the camera, scenic design, lighting design, stagecraft, introduction to design, costume design and construction, drafting, directing, makeup design, intro to video and filmmaking, screen drama workshop, motion graphics and animation, script workshop, experimental cinema and video. We're teaching courses in experimental cinema, visual narrative, image manipulation, digital recording techniques, recording and post-production techniques, digital filmmaking, and visual communication. That list is not exhaustive. But I wanted to let you know that those are the kinds of things that we're doing right now. It's happening. And VSC statistics. VSC, just quick statistics. From year to year, the Vermont student population at Castleton University, that is, students at Castleton University who are from Vermont, is 60 to 70%. That goes from year to year. However, at the Vermont State College system-wide, year to year, or as of November 15, 2016, 84% of Vermont State College system students were from Vermont. 84%. And they're studying things like that I talked about. So the message that I wanted to leave you with is that they're here. They're working on this. They're doing it. They're studying it. They're producing it. They're doing stuff with it. So reach out. They'll reach out. Use them. We should make connections. That's the message I wanted to say. Questions? Great. Thanks.
Alex, number 3.
Hello. Is the mic on? I say 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Test, test, test. 1, 2. There we go. And there we go. Great. Thank you. Okay, so I am Andy Reisman. My wife and I are Ames Hill Productions. We are actually based in Marlborough, Vermont. And my first slide, This is the view out our back door. So this represents one of the benefits of working in the state of Vermont. Our primary niche is documentary-style films for nonprofit organizations, although sometimes we work for corporations, other people. We co-direct our films. I shoot, Kate, my wife, edits the films. And we have remained married after 23 years of business. We also work independently. I work as a DP, and Kate works in the editing room. When I'm shooting, I usually work with a sound person, sometimes larger crews, and occasionally I work as a one-man band. And like many people in Vermont, I take on other work, I can be hired in a number of capacities. And Kate pretty much sticks to editing. We also make films of our own. I noticed some young people in the audience, and so I'm adding a little ad-lib here, which is, in the early days when we started the company, every New Year's Eve, every New Year's Day, I would turn to Kate and I would say, how the hell are we going to make a living this year? And every year, something came up, and we made it. And I just wanted to encourage the younger people that do good work, work your hardest, and work will show up. So, to our work. We're currently working on a commission for Bellevue Hospital in New York City. It's our second project for them. We are producing documentaries about a terrific program there, supporting economically struggling parents in interacting with their infants to stimulate brain development, so that the children end up on par with their peers when they hit school age. It's a really great program. Kate edited the footage into a moving and compelling promotional film, as well as short documentaries for presentation at academic conferences. We landed this job as a result of our numerous films about the importance of reading to babies for a nonprofit called Read to Me in New York City. Another project that we got through our documentary work with babies. This is a film we were making for Begin Smart Books, which is a Barnes & Noble publishing company. And we were asked to shoot babies reading Begin Smart Books, but instead of in a documentary style, they wanted us to shoot on a sound stage with beautiful lighting, using colorful props to minimally suggest living spaces. We filmed 24 babies over 2 days with a couple of cameras and a really great New York crew. That was a fun job. Okay, next. We were recently hired to make several films for a New York City-based internet company called Hack. We were asked to profile people whose work is essential to making the internet function. However, we were meant to profile them as individuals, not so much about their work on the internet. One profile was of a woman named Shah Zhu, a professor at Dartmouth College, who's working on a number of really cool projects. This is an early prototype for a pair of glasses that will track the wearer's gaze. And on this project, we worked with a younger collaborator. There's a guy who writes all the music for our films for the past 15 years named Tyler Gibbons. And he actually co-directed, and it was really great to work with somebody with a very different sensibility. That was really enjoyable. All right, next. Here's a still from a film we made for Habitat for Humanity, documenting construction of homes in Vermont and following the families who would be occupying them. Like so many of our films, we shot cinema verite scenes and interviews with a variety of the participants. And then Kate edited the footage into a beautifully paced piece. And I was thinking on the way here, the cinema verite, what's the definition of cinema verite? It's shooting an unpredictable scene in a way that the footage is highly editable. So that's what I would call cinema verite. Where am I going now? Hang on. Okay. Closer to home, we made a film for Youth Services, which is a nonprofit social service agency in Brattleboro, which includes many different programs, including the Judicial Diversion Program and Big Brothers Big Sisters. And it was a fairly complicated project to edit because there's so many facets to the organization that it was a challenge in structuring the film to represent them all clearly. However, structuring films is Kate's strong suit. Well, there she is. There is Kate, the famous Kate. Speaking of Kate, now I'll say a word about our independent work. Kate has been a documentary editor for many, many years, working with the likes of Bill Moyers and Robert Drew. She edited at 60 Minutes for 5 years, as well as on numerous PBS documentaries. One portion of our business is long-distance clients looking for post-production work. So clients work with her from afar and then periodically travel up from New York City, stage the little inn in Marlboro, and work with her directly in the editing. And I'm sometimes hired as a director of photography. This is a shot from a narrative film. I shot the substantial New York City portions of I don't know if people know Nora Jacobson, who's one of the #1 Vermont filmmakers around. She made a film called The Hanji Box, and I shot the New York portions. Since I'm usually working on documentaries, this was a really exciting and challenging opportunity, and I had a great time. This is a dinner scene shot in a Korean restaurant in New Jersey, and at the top of the frame, you can see these are china balls, which are just round, sort of silken material over a light bulb, which provided the soft lighting in the scene. And here's a film we made on our own. It's called Lilac Ridge, Life on a Family Farm, looking at current agricultural trends in Vermont through the lens of a single family farm. We followed activities on the farm for 3 years. The film has aired on Vermont Public Television and can be streamed from their website if you'd like to see it. As to the benefits, one of the questions I was asked was, what benefits do we provide to the Vermont film community? And I just wanted to list a few things. We collaborate with many local filmmakers, musicians, and artists. We hire local crew whenever we can and support colleagues however we can by sharing gear, reviewing edits, collaborating when possible, and passing along work to others when we're not available. We've been involved in a number of statewide media groups, starting back in the 1990s with VEMA. I doubt there's anybody in the room who remembers VEMA. Currently, we belong to the Facebook group Northern Roots Film Collaborative, which is a Facebook page for and we participated in probably the greatest Vermont collaborative film effort, the Vermont Movie, where we made a sequence about agriculture. I shot a bunch, Kate edited a bunch, and also Kate teaches film video at Bennington College, and I teach one semester a year at the Putney School. And ladies and gentlemen, I believe That's it. Thank you.
Everyone, mic on? Yes, no? No? I'm number 3. Oh, okay, great. Hi, everyone. I'm Cora Trowbridge. I'm the Executive Director of Brattleboro Community Television, and that is just an hour across the state. Just want to acknowledge my partner from Greater Northern Access Television, who is here filming, from another community media center. And I'm here to talk to you about this network of 25 community media centers all across Vermont. Some of you may know that your own local station, but you may be interested to know that there are stations like that all across the state, and operating 49 cable channels and the Vermont Media Exchange, which is a file sharing service, which means something that's shot here, you can watch over in Brattleboro. Next slide, please. Sorry, I don't have the, here's the clicker. Okay, next slide, please. Whoops, wrong way. Okay. Where am I aiming? Over there. Okay, I'll go that way. Just quickly, why is Vermont a community media friendly state? Because we're talking about some of the restrictions of being in Vermont to the film industry. The state of Vermont requires cable operators to provide public access services, which means, and I'll be explaining a little bit more what that means, and that cable operators then will subcontract that to an organization like mine. And each community media center receives subscriber fees from towns that are designated to be their service territory. So that's how all of these centers are funded, something that is not very well known. What is it that we do? This was the reason that we're able to get these subscriber fees. This was originally done in the 1984 Cable Act, which was to enable local people to be able to get on television when cable took over for local television stations. So it is a free speech mandate, which means that anyone who comes to one of our stations has the right to learn how to make a program, and that program goes on our channels no matter what it is. Basically, you have to meet like the federal definition for obscenity or have a copyright violation in order to not be able to put your show on. So very unrestricted in terms of content. But so what the staff does at the station is we train community members to produce shows. This gives people low cost to no cost access to video production gear, and then the staff also produce original content. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. In terms of the TV and film industry, I think one of the most important things we do is we employ creative people. Those 25 stations employ more than 100 full-time equivalent staff across the state. And those staff do things like we already talked about, training and supporting community members, but also they're producing events and meetings. And if that sounds kind of ho-hum, we had our 4-camera coverage of the strolling of the Heifers Parade go live on Vermont PBS last year. So that was seen by viewers from Montreal all the way through the Adirondacks and all through Western Mass, all of Vermont and some of New Hampshire. So that was cool. And also we produced the Harris Hill Ski Jump, which you may have heard of, like thousands and thousands of you live on Facebook. It's we really do aim high in terms of our productions. So we talked about the benefit to the film and TV industry. It's where creatives can get their start in network. It is a place where you can find talent, you can find crew, you can find equipment. And it is also a distribution platform for your content. If you've made something and you're ready to release it, why not give it to your community media center and share it with local viewers? The Vermont Access Network, which is the association of community centers, community media centers all across Vermont. This is us at the annual Alliance for Community Media Conference getting awards. Together as a state, produce 18,000 hours of local content every year. My station, my tiny station alone, produces 1,200 hours of original content per year. That's a lot for all of you who are struggling over, making one perfect hour of content. That's a lot of content. That content is aired to hundreds of thousands of cable households and of course is online. The Vermont Media Exchange, this file sharing service, is a national model. We also share our content on a national file sharing network. I have a producer now at our station whose show is distributed in 55 different stations across the country because he's using this national network. The challenges for community media centers is we are funded by cable subscription fees. So you can imagine what the challenge is there if people are cutting the cord. So that funding model that provided this really stable revenue over the years is decreasing. The federal regulations that have cable fund community media centers do not apply to satellite or the internet. So if viewing is going to the internet, that funding is not coming to us anymore. And also we're having to spend time on legal wrangling like Comcast is suing the state of Vermont right now for upholding these public access provisions. And how you can help. Something I was trying to think of how the people in this audience might want to help. One thing is to help mentor people who are coming through community media centers who are talent, who are trying to learn, who are getting their first taste of this kind of work. Offer them a volunteer job on your production. Help host workshops in your area of expertise. Our staff will train on the basics, but something like lighting, if you're a lighting expert, offer a workshop and let those people move to the next level or get a taste of what that's like. Share your content. Produce something locally, again. Please share it with us. Subscribe to cable, that helps us. And also donate. The other thing I was going to say is be a board member. I see we've got Jesse Kreitzer in our back row here, and Andy Reichsman have both served on VCTV's board, also Elaine. That really helps. And you can find your local media center at vtaccess.net. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sass Carey. I work with Pneumaticare and live in Middlebury, and Pneumaticare is a Vermont nonprofit. I've lived in Vermont 50 years, and for 24 years I've been shooting videos in Mongolia. At this point, we have a 21 terabyte archive of footage of this rapidly changing land. We started with VHS-C, then mini DV, and memory cards. We've documented a country in transition. It's nomadic life, healthcare, and shopping. Pneumaticare supports and preserves traditional Mongolian culture through healthcare, films, and stories. Our nonprofit is guided by a feminine way of listening to Mongolian herders to hear what they need rather than having an agenda. Because of this, we've progressed from healthcare, I'm a nurse and energy healer, to filmmaking. So far, we've produced 3 feature documentaries. I have a part-time media specialist, Jen Srabe, here, second row, and hire a new team for each documentary for production and post-production. For my last film, Migration, Fred Thodel, a Middlebury resident, was both director, photographer, and editor. He traveled to Mongolia for the production and edited the film in Brandon, Vermont. We are now in post-production phase of our fourth feature documentary. Our latest film, Transition, has co-editors who live in Vermont, Jen and Melissa Kosmachevsky. I just learned how to say that. The sound in this Mongolia this summer was recorded by Doon Mayberger, a Bridgeport resident who's attending Castletown University. I often work with interns and students as well as professionals. Nomadicare produces its documentaries to fulfill a need for preserving the Mongolian traditional way of life for us all. We've screened our movies all over Vermont, including Vermont Public Broadcasting Service, in New England, nationally, and internationally. The National Anthropological Archives of the Smithsonian Institute purchased our documentaries for their collection. Migration got the top award at the Earth Day Festival in San Francisco and the best scientific audiovisual documentary at the Tartu Film Festival in Estonia in 2016. My favorite audience is the herders who are in the movie. I carry my map book on the 8-hour horse ride to the taiga settlements. They sit in their orts or Siberian teepee and watch the tiny street. This is my team from last summer. The person in the front is our star, translator, filmmaker, and sound person. This is from the movie Migration, when we migrated on reindeer. Okay, here we are sitting in the teepee or arts, watching the movie about themselves. There's an international impact for Vermont for them to see themselves on film. For our work during the past quarter of a century, Nomadicare has been partially supported by various foundations. The National Endowments for the Arts, the Vermont Arts Council, the Rubin Foundation in New York City, the Mongolian American Cultural Association, the Swift Foundation, Mongolian International Capital Corporation, Sustainable's Futures Fund with the Vermont Community Foundation, Middlebury Friends Meeting, Quakers, and Need for Peace Resale Shop in Middlebury. The reason I'm mentioning these is because it takes a lot to make a movie, and it takes just about everything. And this is 25 years of just figuring out where to get the money from. Plus, many unbelievably generous individual donors. We've worked with the Group for Global Documentation, the Center for Northern Studies, Sterling College, Burlington College, and Ecologia as fiscal sponsors. Nomadicare is a Vermont nonprofit supporting Mongolian nomads. I feel privileged to have gained their trust, so they allow us to film them. To document their indigenous life involves riding reindeer and horses and sleeping on the ground. To work with Vermonters and share our results all over Vermont is a pleasure. Some states support their filmmakers so they can spend more time on their work and less on fundraising. Maybe Vermont could consider moving in that direction. Thanks.
Okay, Sass, thank you. Core, Harry, and Andy, thank you so much. Everyone, let's give them another round of applause for presenting this song. I'm really hopeful that everyone got a nice round picture of the really big variety of things that are going on in the state. And I heard your message, Sass, heard your message, Core, and we really have a lot of work to do to bring the state up to speed in supporting this industry. So this is the start of that process.